Hey guys, Level Cap here with This Week in Gaming, your weekly news update for everything going on in the world of video games. And this week, sales figures for Battlefield 6 were released that are genuinely mind-blowing. Arc Raiders got some big balance changes, PUBG is getting a standalone extraction shooter game, and much more. Sales figures for Battlefield 6 are in, and they are shocking. Not only is it the best-selling video game of 2025, it is the best-selling game released since 2022 and has already eclipsed the lifetime sales of Battlefield 1, which was the previous best-selling title in the franchise. To put that into hard numbers, Battlefield 6 has likely sold more than 25 million copies since launch. Never in the history of the Battlefield franchise has a Battlefield game outsold Call of Duty, and Battlefield 6 just outsold the last 3 Call of Duty games. Honestly, it's kind of staggering how successful Battlefield 6 has been, especially considering it was coming hot off the heels of the franchise's most poorly reviewed title ever. As for gameplay updates, this week DICE rolled out some major updates. They added a new map called Eastwood, which is the golf course area of the RedSec map, modified for 64-player modes. There's also 2 new guns, the DB12 shotgun and the M357 trait pistol. Aim assist got a big change for controller players. It's been reset to the open beta tuning. The update should also improve input latency and response time for controllers. Since this major update went live, DICE also released a handful of smaller but critical updates. They extended the capture time of objectives in escalation by 20% to make playing the objective a more tactical experience. DICE will roll out a separate stat for bot kills in the future. They also increased the conquest ticket count from 1,000 to 1,200 to extend the matches and make them feel a bit more balanced. Finally, engineers using the anti-armor training path will now get a full complement of rocket ammo, meaning you can carry 5 rockets per life out of the gate. Arc Raiders got some pretty big balance updates this week that effectively nerfed a lot of the anti-arc weapons. Launcher ammo for the weapons like the Hole Cractor was apparently doing a little bit too much splash damage, and that has been turned off, which has made it significantly less effective against killing arc. The Venator pistol, which has been the go-to for all PvP tryhards, has been nerfed with fire rate reductions. We'll have to see how this all plays out in the grand balance scheme. The game has also been putting in higher peak player counts every weekend since launch. We'll see if they can continue the trend this weekend, but it's possible that the game has maybe finally maxed out. It seems like the publishers behind the insanely successful PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds are not satisfied with the existing litany of games under the franchise's umbrella, as they just announced PUBG Blackout Budget. This is an upcoming extraction shooter set on a mysterious island with PvP and PvE combat, and a shrinking play area that forces everyone to fight each other as the match wears on. The longer you stay in a match, the more dangerous the AI enemies get, with bigger and stronger enemies spawning in over time. And while the game doesn't have a proper release date, it'll be available for playtesting starting on December 12th as a closed alpha. In other PUBG adjacent news, PUBG's creator Brendan Green released Prologue Go Way Back into early access this week. The game is a procedurally generated open world survival experience where every playthrough features a different map. Some of the highlight features include a brutal weather system that affects both the terrain and the condition of the player, as well as intuitive crafting and survival mechanics like building campfires and cooking food. The early access launch includes a roadmap with upcoming features like a climbing system, improved cooking, expanded construction, and more. Prologue is part of a larger project at Green Studio to create a planet-scale survival experience with thousands or even millions of players active in one server. And if you're interested in learning more about Prologue, I did a full video breakdown that you can check out at the end of this video. It's looking like Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is going to sweep up at the Game Awards. It just won 7 awards at the Golden Joysticks and is nominated for a record 12 awards at this year's Game Awards show. The last game to even be close to this level of attention was Baldur's Gate 3, which had 9 nominations and won 6 of them. Arc Raider fans are also pointing out the fact that the game was only nominated for 1 category, Best Multiplayer Game, and was completely left out of other categories that they deemed it deserved, including audio design, which fans are saying is clearly the best of the year. Hytale just got uncanceled. The long-awaited survival crafting game was canceled by Riot Games a few months ago due to ballooning development time and costs. However, the game's original developer had apparently bought the rights to the project from Riot and is planning to nail down a firm release date as soon as possible. As with most things related to Hytale, there's no specifics. Hopefully we'll have some concrete details soon, as this game was one of the most anticipated Minecraft killers, quote unquote, of all time, until its cancellation, of course. Dune Awakening could be facing dire straits. Its player base has declined sharply since launch, and this week the developers are offering an insanely generous free trial that will last until the 27th. While the game was initially praised at launch for being a well-crafted and hardcore survival MMO, its lack of meaningful endgame experience beyond PvP combat is failing to keep players entertained. The game's developer Funcom recently did a round of layoffs affecting Metal Hellsinger's developer and support studio for Dune Awakening, The Outsiders, which was shut down entirely. Half-Life 3 rumors are buzzing again following the announcement of the new gaming hardware by Valve. Industry insiders and leakers have been claiming for months that an upcoming Half-Life title is nearing completion, with the most recent rumors being that it's being playtested by friends and family of Valve developers. There's speculation that the game will be announced during the Game Awards. The show's official Twitter account recently posted about it being 27 years since Half-Life 1 released, which is either a brutal tease that will not come to fruition, or it means that we're actually going to see something. And many have pointed out that it makes a lot of sense for Valve to release a major game launch alongside their upcoming Steam Machine or Steam Frame hardware. Those devices have a 2026 release date, and rumors suggest the next Half-Life game is nearly done. The timing seems to line up pretty well. New leaks suggest a remake of Assassin's Creed Black Flag will launch in March 2026. These leaks are based on internal financial reporting and an earnings call report where Ubisoft mentioned they have an unannounced game debuting before the end of their fiscal year, which is March 31st. Rumors about the remake have been buzzing for months, suggesting it'll update the gameplay with the franchise's modern RPG mechanics while also removing the modern-day scenes from the game entirely. In our final story this week, things have finally turned around for the roguelike shooter Risk of Rain 2. Ownership was handed over to Gearbox back in 2022. What followed was a disastrous Seekers of the Storm DLC release that frustrated players and tanked the game's review score. Bugs, pricing errors, and baffling gameplay changes were the chief complaints. Gearbox even admitted that the PC version was in a really bad place following the DLC's release. However, it looks like the game's latest DLC, Alloyed Collective, has really turned things around. Reviews for the DLC are overwhelmingly positive on Steam, and the general sentiment seems to be that Gearbox have pulled off a complete 180 in terms of quality. And that wraps it up for today's episode of This Week in Gaming. If you want to check out that video on Prologue, go way back, it's here. And also, my friend Colin just released his first ever video game that is called Cleared Hot, and it is a spiritual successor to the Strike games of the 90s. I've played it, it's an absolute blast. You can check out the video here, and you can also pick it up on Steam. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.